Ta-da! Ah, it's mad. It's spirit fingers.
Yeah.
Spirit fingers. Ooh. That's right. Welcome to Werewolf Island. Today on Werewolf Island we have King Echo and me. I got the cocaine cheetah paladin. Where someone actually said that to me. Echo. They said, well, first you got cocaine bear, cocaine shark, cocaine cougar. When are they gonna have a cocaine cheetah? And I said, cheetahs are far more smarter than be caught.
Well, they also have cocaine crabs from outer space and Attack of the Meth Alligator, I think it is.
Oh, that's right. Meth Gator's coming out from. I think that's coming out from either Asylum or SRS. We'll have to.
SRS is the one that does cocaine crabs from outer space.
Okay, then it's got to be. Then the Meth Gator's got to be from the Asylum.
Steven
Uh,
was the one that when we did that watch along to Psycho Beach Party. He told me about it, so I looked this trailer up and oh Lord, Pat, this is bad.
of course it is. It's.
I would send you the trailer, but you would die laughing, or you'd go in complete shock at how bad it looks.
Well, I'm going to surprise you by letting you know what I was watching today before I thought I had to pass out, take a little nap. But I'm going to finish it after I'm done here. But they made a remake of the classic movie, the Gila, the giant Gila monster from the 50s. They remade it, and it came out in 2012. It's on Tubi. I saw
Yeah,
it.
I found that. I still gotta watch it.
It has. Can I be honest? Can I name drop here? Am I allowed to name drop?
Sure.
Steven, are we allowed to name drop? Because in the movie Gila, it had Kelly Maroney. As you know, that she just got done doing that interview with the Night Watch Zone the other night.
Yeah.
Uh, there's that. And then one of the main stars of the movie was an actress named Christina De Rosa, and she was the guest on Eight Questions with. And her character lived longer than Kelly Maroney. That's right.
There's a couple people that have interviewed Kelly. Someone interviewed her and what's her name? She was with her in Night of the Comet.
Catherine Mary Stewart.
Yeah, someone interviewed both of them. Yep, gotta
No,
go with the
Steven,
Resident
I
Evil
have
2.
not had Kelly. Kelly, I have not had her on. Kelly is an artist that charges per appearance, and I can't afford it. Yeah. Kelly is she's someone that you have to pay to come on, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like I just can't afford it. So, but we did get Christina De Rosa on there, and she was very cute, very charming. Even though she did play the bad girl in the movie, but I was digging them. I was digging it. It's a pretty faithful remake, and it's pretty nice. I was actually really like watching it. I'm like, this is a lot of fun, and so I'm gonna finish that. I think I'm even gonna review that.
There
Um,
was one made that was pretty good, but kind of scary called Komodo.
oh, I remember that.
The
Yeah, I
kid,
remember
his
that
parents
one.
get ate by the Komodos, and he has to go back there years later.
The
And
Island.
yeah, they're still there. I thought that was a pretty. I thought that was a pretty good movie.
Uh,
Giant creatures eating people.
oh, anytime you get a creature feature, it's a good thing. Let's see. Anthony is here. Hey, boys, how are you? We're doing well. And you went to job training program. That's good, Anthony. I'm glad to hear that, buddy. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, Echo Patty. Oh shit, Echo Patty. That sounds like Echo Patty. That sounds like a show right there. Welcome to the Echo Patty show
It sounds like a type of hamburger. What kind of patty do you want? An Echo patty.
from Sonic.
They have the closest Sonics here, and I love the food.
Well, you don't have any Sonics?
They closed it down.
Oh man, we had one close to us, and I went over there and I got a milkshake, and their milkshakes are pretty big, but a little bit expensive. And so I said, okay, I'll get one, But I went, oh my God, I felt like I was trying to drink concrete, and not in a good way. It was like glue. It was
We
like,
have a place here called Minos that is worse than that. You got to be a black hole to suck those milkshakes out.
mm.
I would get them and I let them sit on the table for a bit, let them kind of liquefy a little bit before I try.
Yeah. So I enjoyed their food for the most part, but I was a little bit surprised when they said, yeah, it was like $6.20, $6 and 20 something change or something for a milkshake. And we're like, for a milkshake, for a large milkshake. I said, okay, well, I'll try, because if you're charging that much, it's got to be that good. So I went ahead and got it, and I went over and I took a drink, and I was like, holy crap, this is terrible.
we got a new buffet here, and all the reviews are bad. With one person got food poisoning, but they charge you like $23 per adult. I think it's 17 for kid. A forced 15% service charge.
Hey Echo,
And
Steven's offering something. I think this might be something you might want. Echo has a question for you. He has a Return to Raccoon City.
oh hell yeah, I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
But no, they charge you, Pat. 13. I was 23 to get in for an adult, 17 for a kid, $2.95 for a drink, 15% service charge. If you have more than 4 people, they give you a group charge fee, and if you leave any food on your plate, they add that to your bill.
The basement door just rang. That means our guest tonight is here, and that would be artist and comic book creator Corissa Grant. I don't like keeping people in the basement, so we're gonna go get her, and we'll start the show just a little bit early. So let's do it.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, I did this for you.
Oh yeah. That's
Wow.
awesome. I'm not the artist though. I'm the writer. Just so people wouldn't get confused. But yeah, Resident Evil 2 is what started this whole thing.
A game I played and I had trouble with the controllers. I got mad.
The trouble with
don't steal my story. This is my story.
I had the same thing that happened.
I bought the game because I saw the commercial for the crocodile coming out to buy Leon. I don't know why that did it. I went out and bought PlayStation 1, but I rented the game. There's no instructions. I kept walking Leon into the fire. Like, it was driving me crazy. I threw the controller. My older brother comes in, starts playing it like it's nothing. I get mad, kick him out, and then start playing it. Then I like played it nonstop. And then I went and bought the game, and it had instructions. And I was like, there's auto aim? Like, what the hell?
Auto aim, the friend to all gamers.
Man, I was like, what? No, I was. The chat says I had a part in Resident Evil 2. I did not, but my comic book is in the Resident Evil world, so it's very Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Supernatural, Buffy thing going on. So
that's a hell of a mix,
right?
Yeah.
It's a little crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good question to open up with. Have you ever been a fan of somebody's work, and that was so completely awesome for the first time you saw it, and then they come out the second part, and as much as you love the first one, the second one is like, oh, what the hell happened to it?
Ooh, man. I probably in a novel. I'm trying to think if that ever happened in a comic book, but I mean, it happens in movies all the time.
Right.
It's the curse of the number. They say it's like sometimes when the movie's got the number,
yeah.
Like part 2, it's like, wait a minute.
Not mine, man. Mine gets better. I actually forgot. Like, so mine's 5 books. I already wrote it with the co-writer. We wrote 5 books for fun. We was not planned. We were just role playing, and I'm obsessed with book 3 because it's Resident Evil 2. They're trapped in a city. They find survivors. They're trying to get through with the zombies, and Lab had created monsters and all that. So then I forgot how good 2 was because I was so obsessed with 3 that when I was doing the script for 2, I was like, oh, there's zombies and giant salamanders and ghosts in this one. I forgot all about that. So yeah, my stories got better than I remembered. I'm biased, but I mean, I just forgot.
Sometimes a sequel comes off good. I mean, look at Mass Effect.
Well, Terminator 2. I like Terminator 2. I like the 2 mummies. I did not like 3. Wait, Brendan Fraser. 3 was the one that was it. 3 that was the one with like the
Impertum, and they changed Rachel Weisz to Maria Bello. Yeah.
But hey, second one, we got bad CGI Dwayne Johnson.
That was crazy.
And here's the thing: he was voiced when he came back as a Scorpion. He was voiced by a heavy metal singer who must have saw how bad it was because they don't credit him.
Really?
He's like, he's probably like, take my name off, take it off.
Well, see, the problem is they advertised him as being in the movie, and he was barely in the movie. And I've been tricked before. I got tricked with Congo because I love Bruce Campbell, and he was in the trailer. So I literally went to go see this movie because of him. And not only is he only in it for, I kid you not, I think it was like 35 seconds. He was dead. Like it was like some kind of video thing. Whatever was in the trailer was all he was.
Yeah. Famously, that happened to Steven Seagal.
Oh, really?
He did a movie with Kurt Russell. They had like Steven Seagal, Kurt Russell. Like, yeah, this is back when everyone liked Seagal. Like, yeah, I was just gonna kick ass me on Air Force One fighting terrorists. 10 minutes in, Seagal dies, and it's not like he doesn't go down fighting the swinging. He goes down because the plane was a malfunction with the plane he was on, and he dies.
Seriously?
It's like, and my mom, she was a bigot, she comes home and she's all mad. He died. 10 minutes in. Like,
wow. And I didn't know Bruce. I always get distracted by the comments, but I didn't know Bruce Campbell was in Darkman.
Oh yeah.
At the very end, when Darkman puts on like a new face,
it's him.
He turns around.
I didn't know that.
Bruce. It's like
Liam Neeson's first role here on the States.
Yeah,
before anybody knew who he was.
Yeah, it's like 10. It's like 2 seconds, and real quick, it just kind of turns around the stairs and then walks off.
I am learning so much already.
Yeah, I also noticed. Okay, you were talking about you did role playing on one of those websites.
Yep.
I used to do that with one of those wrestling ones.
Nice.
Where you had to RP, like they would tell you, okay, you got to RP your match out, your entrance, and then you got to wait for the other person, and then got to go. It would take forever just to do like, okay, you're gonna have a 10-minute match. 2, maybe 3 weeks later, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, so I role played as Claire Redfield for 15 years, and I was obsessed with it. I'm dyslexic. I started as a one-liner, and then I kind of built up, and now I can write 6,000 word replies. Last week I sent her a 15,000 word reply, and it marked the 1 million words in the story. Now we passed it, but it was 1 million words in the story so far that we wrote.
Here's one for you. We have different incarnations of Claire now. We have the classic Claire from the games, and the CGI movies.
Yep.
The reboot.
Yep.
The last theatrical Resident Evil movie.
Yep.
And the other one with
the blonde hair.
What's your favorite incarnation of her?
Well, because I role played her for 15 years, it's going to be the original. That's who I had first. I fell in love with her. All the other ones are fine. I mean, the only thing I hate, I was really mad when the Resident Evil movies first came out because, first of all, Resident Evil 1 had none of the characters. So I waited at this point, 6 years to see the movie. I remember to this day sitting in the theater when the trailer, because back then you had to wait for trailers because I'm old. You're sitting in the movie theater waiting for the trailer, and all of a sudden the trailer for Resident Evil, and you're like, oh my God, it's the trailer. I was so excited. And then that one character from the damn game was in it. I was like, this sucks. And
the closest we got was what? The dogs, the zombies, and the lickers. So I can't remember what game the lickers were introduced in.
Yeah, the lickers were 2. It was Resident Evil 2 because they were on the ceiling when Leon walks down the hall, but they weren't supposed to be in 1. And that one was kind of a prequel. It wasn't even 1. I mean, I don't think they ever did 1, which in their defense, 1 is not the most exciting. It's all keys. You're in one location. It's not the best. Resident Evil 2 is my favorite by default, but Resident Evil 4 was my second favorite.
And here's the thing about Resident Evil 2. Even Hellscape, they remade 4 of the games now.
Yeah.
I haven't played the 4th one yet, but the best of the remakes so far is the second one.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that was kind of cruel was so originally Mr. X was only for Claire, which is very sexist, but now Leon got to deal with him too. Mr. X was terrifying to me. I thought he was absolutely terrifying. He would just like bust through walls and just like show up. But the nice thing about 2, which I don't know if the new one had it, but they probably do. But you can play it 4 different ways and get 4 different endings. Did you ever do that with Resident Evil 2? So depending on who you played first.
Well, okay, because I had trouble with the original. I played the remake, and to get the complete ending, you got to play as both. You got to play as both of them.
Yeah. So with the original one, you had to play. I think the proper way was Claire first, but you could do it either way. But by who you played first unlocked things for the next person. So like I don't know if they did that in the remake. I didn't play it. I just kind of watched it. But with the original, Claire would open up certain doors or blow up certain things, and then that would pave the way for Leon. So there was 2 ways to play it, but 4 endings. So depending on who you played first, if you played, I guess 2 technically ways, but I think there was 4 endings. But if you played Claire first was the proper way, and then played Leon, but then you switch it and do Leon first, then you could see both ways to do it. So it was kind of weird.
Oh, I wish I did that with the remake. That would have made things a whole lot easier. I need to get into the door. Only Claire can use this key.
Yeah. That's why Claire had to go for it, because she would use the keys. Yeah, that sounds very frustrating. I love the remake, the way it looked. Though, I mean, like I said, the original Claire will always be my favorite. For the movies, I liked the Welcome to Raccoon City. However, it was very fan favorite, so my husband had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, it had stuff from what? The first game, the second game,
and 3. It was 1 through 3. Like, why would you squeeze in 3 into one movie? Like they squished in the 3, and especially specifically 2, but they squeezed it in for whatever reason, so it felt very rushed and not a lot of time. They also switched 2 characters, which I didn't understand. I think Brad and Richard, they switched teams. I don't know why. But other than that, I mean, as a fan, that was well done, but it should have been 2 movies. So they just wanted to get Claire in there.
My favorite scene is, what's the name? That one girl that was deformed and stuff when she fought the liquor. She killed her with nothing. It's like, where's that movie? I just want a movie with her.
Yeah.
Just this creepy girl just shows up, got that whatever it is, and just like snap.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the movie was good. I think it could have been better. I do like the CGI movies. I cannot wait until Death Island.
Oh, hell yeah. I want to see
they're all together. I'm super excited.
That scene you get in the trailer, it's like there's Jill, there's Claire, there's Chris, there's Leon, there's all of them, and there's got the guns pointed. It's like, take my money, please.
Oh yeah,
and the set in the same universe of the original games. This takes place after 5 and before 6.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I gotta watch them all again. The only thing I always hated is I always wanted Claire and Leon to get together, and they never do. And I think it was in the last one they almost did, and like one of them said something to screw up the other one, and was like, no, forget. Like I think Leon was about to ask Claire on a date, and then Claire said something about something, and Leon's like, no, I'm not doing that. And I was just like, damn it, you both are idiots. So
Leon's too busy chasing after Ada. He's only been doing that for 20 plus years.
Well, see, I read the books. I read the Resident Evil novels. There's 6, 7?
Well,
no.
Okay, that's okay. That's the ones that it covers 0, part 1, the first games, and does like stories in between the games.
Yes, there's one individual between 1 and 2, between 2 and 4. I don't know if there's a fourth, but there's like a something Cove, and I loved them because you got to see like Leon and Claire actually are together in that, and you get to kind of see them. They get separated again, but they're actually in the fight with other ones, and with Rebecca and all that. So it was cool to get in to read that. And they had some really cool scenes in it, and I actually really like those.
I used to have them all, but they only cover game-wise. They cover 0 to 3, and then stories in between.
And then some weird independent one where they go to some cove, one where they go to an underground facility. I don't know if there's another one, but they did some really cool scenes in those. So I really did like those. Yeah. No.
Okay, we see a comic, Worthy Chaos. Have you been a fan of comics for how long? Have you read them growing up?
So in the 90s, my older brother got me into the comics, and I loved Ghost Rider with Danny Ketch. I still have them, and they're right next to me. I love Danny Ketch. I love Spirits of Vengeance. I have all of those. I had when Venom guest starred, Spider-Man guest starred, X-Men guest starred. I mean, it was awesome. I even have the What If Barbara Ketch was Ghost Rider. So I really love those. And then besides those,
what if you have the Midnight Massacre storyline?
Yes, I do. I have all of those. I don't know when I stopped, but I did eventually stop. I think it just got too crazy with crossover or something. But I have all the Midnight Madness, Midnight Suns, and all that stuff. I never got into the other ones. What was it? Bible Black something? Black Book. What is it?
I think I know what you're talking about because I think I have the first.
I saw them like last week. I took them out, so now I have no excuse to not remember it. But I didn't really read them. I only read them during the crossovers. I know the whole point was they wanted to get you into it, but and then besides that, Dick Grayson, Nightwing, those I read into. But after the 90s, I really didn't get much into it.
That's when they started raising the prices. I mean,
it's probably why. So, I mean, like I said, I didn't really write this in any intention of making it a comic book. By the time we finished writing, we not finished writing, but by the time we decided to do this, I had just said, we can't release them as novels. It's such a waste. It's such a good story. I love the story. I think other people would like it, but we couldn't really release it as novels because it was, in an RP format. So I was going to just write it, just print them out on lulus.com. And I was going to say, let me get a cover artist and we'll from Upwork or whatever. And I'll just have a cover made. So when I was looking at artists, this isn't where I found mine, but they were so cartoony and we're role players. So we had like actors in mind when we were writing. So I said, do you want these are cartoony or should I just keep looking for realistic? And she's like, cartoony's okay. And I don't know, light bulb went off. And I was like, ooh, we should have a comic book. And like an idiot, I'm thinking this is super easy. You just get an artist, you release a comic book, and bam, you're good to go. No, it's a lot. I work harder in this than I do the job that pays for it. So,
we see the covers there. Those actually look pretty awesome.
Yeah, these are banners from my interior artist is Jonah De Costas, and this is actually his first job. This is his first comic job. He's never done this before. He's absolutely positively amazing. And I got super lucky to have him. I got screwed over with my first artist. They stole $3,000 from me. I tried to fix it for $2,000. Yeah, so I threw away $5,000 because I released it as a soft release. I didn't advertise. I just kind of released it to family and friends and all that, and everyone liked it. But when I found my new artist, which took months and thousands of dollars to find, he was just so on. Like, it was just perfect. The characters were how I pictured them in my head. The panels were amazing, and I was just like, after he did 2 and 3, I was like, you have to go back and redo 1. So I just kind of, it was an internal crisis for so long to be like, should I just throw away the $5,000? I mean, it's $5,000. I should really sell them. And I just couldn't do it. I wanted him to redo it, and he redid it for me. And I'm so glad he did because it was so absolutely worth it. They're gorgeous. It showcases his work and my characters, and they're all action packed. I showed it to someone the other day, and they're like, I've never seen so much action in a comic book. I was like, well, we were role players. You have to entice the other one to write back to you.
I always credit comic books for being really want me to learn to read. Because my dad would give me these comic books, and I didn't know how to read, and so I see all the action. It's great, but then when no one's doing anything, we're sitting around talking. It's like, what? What's going on?
Yeah. So with mine, they don't really get a chance to really talk until my issue that just released on Tuesday is issue 5, and they finally get like 3 pages to talk to each other before they get attacked by something. But pretty much, I mean, it's very action packed. Issue 7 has a lot of things going on. But I mean, once issue 2 hits, it's pretty much nonstop action because it's just so book 1 is 7 issues, which is we're on issue 5. 6 gets released August 15th, and issue 7, which is the last one in book 1, is in October. They're all connected. The books are just different environments. So like this book 1 is the Silent Hill, they're stuck in a town merged with hell, and they're trying to fight their way through as their fathers are trying to get them. She's an angel descendant, and he's a demon descendant, and their fathers are trying to get this angelic weapon that she was created from, and they don't really know that these 2 fathers are kind of manipulating them. Her father's controlling Anubis, which goes after them. His father, the demon, is controlling the hellhounds to go after him. So they don't really know what's going on. There's a whole war between heaven and hell, and this weapon can tip the scales in either way. There's actually other reasons why they want it, but that's for fun stuff later. So that's pretty much what it's like, a survival horror. It's like the game, but but all survival.
The good old survival horror.
Yeah. I mean, issue 1 through 7 is them fighting vampires and demons and ghosts, hellhounds, zombie mermen, zombies, things like that. And then when you're in book 2 starts with them in a haunted asylum where it's kind of like Resident Evil 1, but our lickers are like giant salamanders on the ceiling, and these ghosts are in there, and they're trying to get themselves out. And then once they get out, then you've got Resident Evil 2 where you're completely in this the zombie infested city, and the monsters are after them. And then after that, it kind of goes to Code Veronica, but since Code Veronica wasn't the best game, mine's way better. But they're on this island where they're trapped in this facility where they're trying to get out of, and just like most of the Resident Evil games, the monsters escaped, and they're trying to get through the island, and a lot of that stuff happens. So it's pretty much a survival horror action adventure,
the old school survival horror was so much fun.
Yeah.
And frustrating when you would run out of space. So you gotta find something way to make space.
I know it wasn't realistic, but I love the box, the unlimited box. Yes. When they came out with Resident Evil 0, when you had to drop your items, I hated that. I never remember where I would try to drop them all in the main lobby so that I remember where they all are. But I was like, I don't, realistic or not, I want my box back where they're magically all connected. So yeah, but we have Easter eggs in every issue, and a lot of them are Resident Evil. Like issue 1 has the alligator in the sewer, the crocodile in the sewer on one of the pages. In issue 2, we have the typewriter in the background that you save on in all the games. And then we have other horror, like Resident Evil. We have, I think there's Nightmare on Elm Street in there, Saw, Halloween, Friday the 13th. We have little Easter eggs in each one in the background of little items from all the movies and stuff.
So it's always fun to see, little Easter eggs.
Yeah, and when the graphic novel's released, whoever finds them all and posts the first gets one of our 3D statues for free. So it's kind of like a little contest.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so we have a lot of little details in the background that people probably will never notice, but we do, so we feel kind of sneaky for putting them in there. But like in issue 1, when you watch a movie and you turn on a movie, when you're watching a movie and in the movie they turn on the TV and it automatically tells you whatever they need to know and where they have to go, and very exposition kind of thing. So we kind of had a joke about that in ours, where she turns on the TV and it instantly tells her the town that she needs to get to and all that stuff. But if you look really closely, the TV is actually unplugged, and it's the angel outside the window that's making the story fake. And so in the next page, he kind of hints to it where he says, "You're going there anyway." And she's like, "How did he know I was going there?" And it's because he manipulated the TV. So we have these little things in the background that most people probably will never get, but we feel clever for putting them in there.
Now, is your world set in those worlds as well?
Is our what?
Is your comic? You mentioned all the Easter eggs in there. Are you establishing your world in that universe?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like we have certain rules, of course, but it's a supernatural world. It's kind of Resident Evil with a supernatural twist to it. Is pretty much how we went through it. I mean, our greatest villain, we have demons and angels, and our greatest villain is a human that comes in. He shows up in issue 1, but he kind of doesn't play much of a part until a little bit later. But so he kind of plays the role. He has the facilities that he's making these creatures from, and there's a secret to how he's making them, and how it's connected to Seraphina and Raven and all that stuff. So but yeah, it's such a world building thing. And like I said, this series 1 is already done. We have 45 issues written. The spin-off, which is a what if, is another 40 issues already written. And then we started series 2 on both, and a prequel to show how it all started. So there's a lot of writing.
What if was such a great title back in the 90s.
It was my favorite series because I always have that question in my mind. What if? I mean, even Futurama had a what if machine. And that was like my favorite. I wanted one. Like, it just all you do is ask a question, what if? And you get to see the movie play out and all that stuff. But in our series, so in Redemption, it starts off a little crazy, shocker. But they're teenagers about to run away together when her brother gets possessed by a demon and kills their parents. So she calls Draven and says, "Don't come back to the house. My brother just killed my parents." And of course, the first thing he does is go to the house. She jumps out the back window, and he goes in the front door, and he slips on her blood, and he calls her, and she turns around and gets hit by a car. So she's driven out of the city with no ID and is in a coma for months, and he gets arrested for her murder. So they both think that her brother killed the other one. So for 10 years, they thought the other one was dead. She trained as a supernatural hunter to get revenge, and he trained as an assassin to get out of jail. That was kind of like the deal. So the only reason why the angels and demons finally found them was he had the angelic weapon on him that she had given to him. And when he moved closer to her, it set off an alert that their souls were so close together. So the angels and demons tricked them into the town, and that's where they got trapped in this town that is merging with hell. And that's where they're screwing with them. So in the spinoff, they actually ran away before the murder. And that way, now you have these two teenagers on the run with no knowledge of the supernatural, no supernatural skills, no assassin skills. So they're going through a lot of similar things, but with no, training whatsoever. So you kind of get to see them grow. And they're the same characters, but a completely different scenarios that they go through. And it's kind of funny because a lot of our main characters that we have their personalities are different in each series, because some that were nice in Redemption are mean in a spinoff, and vice versa, because of the situations they were put in. It was different than before. So it wasn't on purpose. It was just kind of the way we played those characters. And we're kind of like, these characters are like the opposite. Like one demon is nicer in the spinoff and actually teams up with them because they didn't go through those 10 years of, hell. So it was cool to play that. And it was started as a joke, and 5 novels later, we're like, this was cool. So it wound up not being a joke, and it's a really good series. So we're hoping to eventually release that too.
You mentioned one thing I've noticed. You mentioned you build your world. You're 45 episodes, 45 books ahead. Did you leave yourself any wiggle room to go back and reshape the world? According to the reaction you get from your readers?
Oh yeah. So originally, the fathers manipulated them, but they were never there because we didn't need anyone to see them. So they're actually not even until series 2. But while I was writing it, I wanted people to realize that there's more behind the scenes than just these. They weren't human. so they don't know that they're not human, but we do. So we get to see the father's banter and control what's going on. Also, Anubis was not in it as much. But after I wrote issue 2, I just loved the character so much. And I had such positive feedback from him that now he's not only in all of them, he has a major part later on. And then in series 2, he's part of the main crew. So he's definitely a big part of it now. And he has a hellhound that he plays fetch with in 4. And then from then on,
plays fetch with a hellhound. Okay.
So the backstory to that was, it was not intentional. I just wrote it when I was doing the scripts, and I was like, this is kind of, I'm just going to throw this in there. So the reason why the hellhounds follow Draven's father is because he beat the alpha, to control the other one. So he took over the pack, and now the alpha, which is Croc, has nowhere to go. So Anubis was just standing there, and Anubis is being controlled by a remote control that the other father has. So Anubis the hellhound just bought him a stick, and Anubis threw it, and he brought it back, and he's like, oh, okay. And then he just throws it. So now in every issue, the hellhound just follows him, and he usually has a stick in his mouth. So it's just kind of one of those things in the background where he's just like, are we going to play fetch now? So
it's actually a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, and it changed book 3 a little bit because originally Anubis wasn't in it as much. I didn't have the remote control and any of that. So in book 3, he has to go through portals, which is what Anubis can do in mythology. So the remote control wouldn't work. So they said, you have to go do this and follow them and make sure that, she's where we want her to go. And if you don't, we're going to stuff your hellhound. So it kind of was like they were using him as leverage against Anubis. But you can see him start to fight over that remote control, and then that's when they start using the hellhound as like a tool. So it kind of controls Anubis in a way. So it was just a new spin on it. Also, adding Anubis to the Resident Evil 2 storyline of book 3 was so cool, because when he comes through the portal, there's a giant, obviously, a horde of these zombies. And at first I was thinking he was going to, attack them with his axe. But then I was like, wait a minute, he controls the dead. So he just like holds it up and the staff glows and they like part the way. So it was just this cool little scene of these zombies just moving out of the way for Anubis to walk through. So I'm putting that as a cover because it just looks so cool. So yeah, we're changing it a little bit as we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, one of the hard thing about doing a comic book, a continuity book, is sometimes you inadvertently don't mean to, but you write yourself into a corner, and also too, depending on what the audience reacts to it, you might be hyped on a character, but the audience might not, and so you got to be able to adjust it, because if you keep trying to push that on them, they won't like it, they won't follow it.
I did not expect the feedback for Anubis. Like, I had no idea. He's like, I have plushies of him now. Like, it's just, everyone loves Anubis. I didn't know it was a popular thing. I just picked him because I thought he was cool and I always liked him. So
look at Harley Quinn. She was only supposed to appear in one episode.
Yeah.
And now look at her.
Yeah.
There's a lot of characters were written for a very limited role. And
wasn't Jimmy Olsen, was it?
How about Felicia Hardy?
I think it was like he was supposed to be in a radio show, and the next thing you know, he's in the comics.
Well, look at Norman Reedus with The Walking Dead. There wasn't even a part for him, so they literally made a part for him in The Walking Dead, and then he became the number one character. So yeah, you never know what's going to be popular or not. So, but I have gotten a lot of feedback. People like. They like the main character so far. They like that Draven's, tough but not invincible. They like that Seraphina's fights back but still has some vulnerability to her. So, especially fighting the vampires, I specifically in book 4 was played out in a certain way where in the beginning they're having a bar fight and they pretty much destroy the humans in the bar fight. But at the very end, it's to show you how strong they are. And then at the very end, they get their asses completely kicked by our vampires to show that these are not just, our vampires are a little different. They're actually, they're a subspecies. We call them a subspecies of vampires. We call them clotters. Their hearts beat every 6 hours. And I did that because I know it's not logical, but whenever vampires bled in movies, I'm like, they don't have a heartbeat. Why are they bleeding? So I kind of made it where the tiny bit of logic in my supernatural creature. So they do have clotted blood. It makes them stronger, makes them thicker. So they're a lot more powerful than regular vampires. They also have another thing about them is once they bite you or taste your blood, they can track you anywhere. Anyone in the family can track you anywhere like a homing beacon. And if you kill one of them, the rest of them will track you down, which is pretty much the plot of these 3 issues is that, that happens and now they have to go track them down. And you don't know if a family is 5 vampires or 50 vampires or 500. Also, the thing about our vampires, which we'll explore probably later on, but the Clotters are a little bit different where they don't, how most, like Buffy's vampires, they don't have souls. Ours do have their souls, but you have to feed directly from a human to survive. Otherwise, you start to decompose like a zombie. So you can't use bags of blood. You can't use animals. So they either perish or they have to, be brutal. So most of vampires turn other like murderers or evil people because that makes them more ruthless. So the Clotters are a lot more ruthless compared to the other vampires. So it gives them that little bit of, meanness to them, I suppose.
Is Draven, do you name your characters in homage to certain other characters? Like, I heard you mention Draven immediately.
Crow. Yeah, he's from the Crow. Seraphina is her name is a play on the Seraphim, which is the highest level of angels. So it's kind of a hint and an homage to that, to show that she is part of a higher level of angels. Speaking of the Crow, though, I just met James O'Barr. It took me 30 years to get his autograph. I've had his graphic novel since 1993. And I went in, I was like, I went to get his autograph. And I said, I've been waiting 30 years for this. And he's like, I'm glad I didn't die on you. I was like, me too. so he signed his books for free, which was great. So he signed 2 of his books. Yeah, his agent didn't look as thrilled. But he signed them for free. And then I had him sign one of my books. But I had an extra one under there because I was going to get it signed. And then I was like, oh, forget it. So he says, can I keep this? And I was like, yes. So he probably will never read it, but my mind thinks that one day he might read it. So I can think that.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. You might be,
I can tell you right now that he'll read it. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he'll be somewhere and it'll be like, oh, I remember this. Will be sit here and read this.
Yep. The road is very long. Even when you're on the plane, it's very long. And the only reason I say that to you, Carissa, is because I dealt with a lot of bands, and so I see a lot of local bands. They would go up and they would give the big national touring band, but they would give the music to them, like here's something. And I can tell you, just watching them, because they would give the music to the band, and then they would leave, and then you sit there and watch how because I saw this many times, and it's like how are they going to treat that? Are they just going to look at it and just toss it in their bag? Are they going to forget it? No. Almost to the man and woman, they would always put the music they got. They would always make sure it got put in their carry bag, like that was their, so you knew that they were going to listen to it. It wasn't just like, let's put this, yeah. So, plus, people like Jim O'Barr, they appreciate talent. They appreciate it.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. He was super nice. I mean, when I started my scripts. Because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I took his out just to have next to me, and I used to sketch from it when I was in 8th grade. So I'm surprised my mom didn't lock me up in a rubber room because I'm doing all these sad pictures from the Crow. Like some horse wrapped in barbed wire and a skeleton with flour. It was just all this stuff. But he was a big influence in my life. So it was really great to meet him. That was like 2 weeks. That was only 2 weeks ago that I finally got to meet him.
I think I found that graphic novel, The Crow, the Eric Draven one, like wasn't in the best condition.
Nah.
Yeah, that. I think it had like a little tear. You could tell somebody had read it a lot. And I found it like in some used bookstore. I'm like, well, I got to get this.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. And I even said to my husband, I was like, I'm really surprised it's actually in the condition that it's in. But it's now even more prized as if it wasn't before. So
cool movie. even better comic.
Yeah. Oh, it's I read it so many times, and I didn't even know about the reasoning for it, like the whole thing with his wife and everything. I didn't even realize that back then. Because knowing me, I probably didn't read the intro or something. I was just like getting into the book, but I didn't know that his wife was killed by a drunk driver. And all that stuff, and I felt so bad for him when I had found that out. So, but it's nice that he had that outlet to do that. So.
In
Yeah.
fact, there was a comic book that a year or two ago that ended up in the Guinness World Records.
Really?
Spawn.
Really?
Something about self-owned, most printed, whatever self-owned.
Wow.
Comics, like, because he printed it his own.
Yeah.
Instead of having somebody else, and it's his. So I guess it was the most, something like that. And it was like in the Guinness World Records. He was like, "Look at this!" Like, whoa.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Are you talking about Todd McFarlane?
Yeah, for Spawn.
Oh.
Wow. How many
Yeah.
issues are out for that? That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's hard to say, because hopefully it's not one of those things where they go so long and they go, okay, we're going to start over again. Volume 1, issue 1, volume 2.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
That's do you feel comic books are how do you think they're doing creativity wise, Carissa? Are they vibrant, or are we seeing, like, to me, when I collected, one of the things was, you got, as a rule, you always collect the number one of any book that you saw. But now today, the last 15, 20 years, every issue is like they'll close it after 6 issues and come back with a new number one, or they'll revamp it.
DC did that. What was it? The New 52 or something like that, and then they did it again.
Like, yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. I don't even read mainstream anymore. Half of them are they have no life in them. Like, I've been reading indie comics now since I've started. I started 7 months ago, and the indie comics have so much passion to it, than compared to these mainstream ones. So I haven't read a mainstream one in like.
Yeah, okay, remember, Marvel was the one that had a character that had the power of Google.
Okay.
That was they rebooted the New Warriors, and this kid's like, okay, we have one girl. She's got a book bag with, and it's bottomless. You can put, like, book bag. It's like, oh, it's Dora. The power of Google. How do we find this bag again? Let me put my glasses on. Google. How do we beat such and such?
Wow.
Like,
yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had that power, but yeah, I probably wouldn't read a comic on that. But yeah. Yeah. I mean, wow. Yeah. No, I'll stick to my indies. I mean, there's so many great indie comics out there that deserve so much more recognition. I don't know if you guys know Nightwolf from Rob Motaro. He's up to issue 7. Actually, I got made fun of because I was on a show with him and they were praising that he was up to issue 7, which I guess is somewhat rare in some of the indie sides or whatever. And they were like, "Oh, how long have you been doing this?" He said, "Oh, about 5 years." And then they came to me and they're like, "Oh, what issue are you on?" I was like, "My Kickstarter is going to be issue 5." They're like, "How long have you been doing it?" I was like, 7 months. I was like, sorry. So they thought I was crazy, which I am very highly crazy. But I mean, it's such a long series and it's such an amazing story that I'm not going to, we actually release them every other month. So except for I'm skipping November and December because it's Christmas and yeah. But generally it's issue, book 2 would start January 23rd. So my artist is just super fast and they're already written. He was upset though, because I told him, I said, "Oh, I really wish you could do spinoff too." He goes, "Why can't I do the spinoff?" I was like, "It's 45 issues and we already wrote 7 to series 2. You're going to be busy. So when you clone yourself, you can do spinoff, but until then." So we'll see.
Now, how do you release your books? Are you strictly online, people through your website, or are you being carried? Are you being carried in stores? Is it?
Oh, well, I have Kickstarter as the main, and then I do have them on my website, which I do have to update. The only stores I have are local, but it just wound up being just one because I'm on 3 people's pull list though, which was like the thrill of my life because I was like, I didn't know it was called a pull list when I used to do it. I used to just have a box that they throw my stuff in. But so when the comic comes out, I have to send them something. So I really like that. But generally, it's Kickstarter and my website so far. I tried cons. I'm not good at them because even though I talk and I'm Italian and very loud, I'm not very good at like calling them over. Like if they come to the table, I can generally talk 90% of them into buying it. But to call them over is like a really annoying thing. So out of the 5 cons I've done so far, I only really did really well at one small local one that was, quiet. But I did really great at Nashville Con, and I actually paid for the table and like half the hotel, and I sold a lot of sets of 3. I sold like 15 sets of 3, which to me was a pretty good investment for people they have no idea what anything's about, and they bought all 3. So I really like that. But it's mainly online, and I probably won't do any cons next year except for maybe 2 local. I signed up for 11 this year because I had no idea what to expect.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But next year I'm probably going to do Nashville again, and then probably a local one. I hated Lexington. I want to go to Lexington, but as an indie creator, people were mainly there for like the 50 major stars that are there. They weren't really there for like indie people. It was so loud, I couldn't talk to anybody. But it looked amazing, and I want to go. So next year I'm just going to be a guest. I'm just going to attend. I'm not going to have a table.
Are there cheetahs in your series by chance?
Cheetahs?
Yeah.
No, but in the spinoff, I just added a saber-toothed tiger, so there's that.
That works.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to use the cheetah here, he'd be out for that.
Oh, well, it's so funny because in the spinoff, she has like all these pets, and in the redemption, she doesn't. And I was like, what is that saying about Serafina, that as an adult, she has nothing there? But in the spinoff, she's the one with the hellhound in the spinoff. She has her rat Apollo, which is from the prequel. She has the saber-toothed tiger, whether he stays or not. I'm not sure yet. I literally wrote him in today for like the first time. So half the time I don't even know what I'm writing until I sit down and write. So I don't really plan much out ahead of time.
I tried doing a little writing. I still have a story somewhere. So you would literally start writing, and once you get going, you never know what comes out.
Yeah, well, so I always say my characters are in control, or at least Serafina is, because because we have that uniqueness that only I write Serafina and she writes Draven, so you have the 2 unique characters there. But I'll be writing something and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I need to start this scene over again. And she'd be like, no, just keep writing it. I'm like, no, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know what I'm writing. And it wound up being like a really cool scene. And I was like, my co-writer's like, where the hell did that come from? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I have no idea. So, yeah. But you do have that uniqueness about that. I don't know if I talked about that because I did like 3 interviews today, but the 2 main characters are written by 2 completely different people. So I write Serafina's actions, thoughts, and speech, and she writes all of Draven's. So my character, Serafina, she talks more than she thinks, which is me. And then Draven thinks more than he talks, and that would be her. So that's why when you read it, it feels like 2 different characters, because it is. I never write for Draven, and she never writes for Serafina.
That's actually pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it gives it a little uniqueness. It wasn't intentional. That's how role-playing works, but it makes it more unique now. So.
And you said you've done two other interviews already today?
I did. Oh yeah, I had 5. This week has been cursed, and 6 or 7 already canceled this week. 2 no-shows and the rest canceled. So 2 today alone canceled. 1 canceled yesterday. I had a no-show on Thursday, a no-show on Tuesday, and now my Sunday just canceled.
Wait a minute, so who canceled? The people who asked you to talk to you?
Yeah, like they picked the day and the time, and the no-show was the worst, because so when I originally went on a show 5 months ago, I didn't know this. He never posted it. So like he's just like, oh, I don't think I ever posted that one. So he goes, let me make it up for you, and we'll do a live show. Can you do July 20th at 6 o'clock? And I was like, well, that's the day I launch, but yeah, I'll fit you in between my other 2 interviews and blah blah blah, and he didn't show up. And messaged him nonstop, didn't show up. So I, whatever. So 2 days later, he writes to me, he goes, "Oh, I didn't think we had it set." So I sent him the screenshot where he said, "Can you do July 20th at 6 o'clock?" And I said, "Yes, I could do July 6th at, July 20th at 6 o'clock." So, and then he never answered to that. So I was like, whatever.
You could let the door hit his ass on the way out.
I'll say this: whenever I see a comic book that has the word chaos on it, I think about Evil Ernie.
Yeah.
Chaos Comics. I read probably every one of those issues.
Yeah. Officially, the company name on my business license is Worthy Chaos Chronicles because of Worthy Chaos. Because of Chaos Comics, even though they went bankrupt. But so Lady Death Universe, right? So
I remember mainly from Chaos Comics. I didn't really like non-chaos stuff. There was no Ernie.
Yeah.
Didn't she get a sword by? Didn't she get a sword by another?
My favorite moment with her was when Ernie got to go to hell and actually meet her. It shows the castle, and you see this. Yes.
Didn't Lady Death get absorbed by another company?
They're in, what is it? Coffin Comics? Is it Coffin Comics? I know they're still making Lady Death Universe now because the Kickstarter was like up to $400,000.
And what was creepy is I read one of the new Evil Ernies where now basically there was war between heaven and hell. He was supposed to be a major factor in it, but hell kind of turned him evil. Well, they have this. Well, he's gonna get executed right when he gets his powers, and I'm looking at the artwork for him. I had to message my best friend from high school. Dude, he looks just like you. Literally, and he's like, whoa.
Wow. Yeah.
In the later comics, they did a storyline where like his dad was possessed by a demon because they wanted to like kill his mom and his unborn sibling, and they can work to turn him evil. Because he was going to be a factor in the war between heaven and hell.
I remember Lady Death. I think that she actually had a crossover with Marvel. She met Thanos. If I'm not mistaken.
That's a different death. That was
that was a different death. Yeah.
That was the one that Thanos had a crush on.
Yeah, they had an affair.
And she was all into Deadpool.
It was,
so he cursed Deadpool to be immortal or something.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah, they didn't talk about they didn't put her in the movies at all, but I do remember that.
Oh no, I think she was from a different comic book company.
It was basically she looked like the Grim Reaper, but then she could have like flesh on, and so she was like this curvy woman with like a candy skull. Was it face paint at times? I want to say.
I don't remember.
Because they did a storyline where Thanos and Deadpool had to go and save her, and only Deadpool could find her, help him find her, but he had to keep killing Deadpool to do it. So he was killing over and over again so Deadpool can have these visions. And then they save her, and Thanos is like, "My love." She runs right past him.
Yeah, that must have been recent. This one was
he's like, Thanos is standing there like,
"Aw."
Yeah, that was way before Deadpool became a thing. This was just it was like a really solitary, interesting, crossover, and it was just with Thanos and Death. And
but you want to talk about Easter eggs? When Evil Ernie met the knockoff parody of Justice League and Spawn. Flash urinates on him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, when he finds out what happened, he's looking down, and then he's just like, and his Spawn, Spawn did the internal monologue. He doesn't do this in this parody. He doesn't do the internal monologue.
What?
He does it verbally.
Oh.
And
external monologue.
And Evil Ernie hears him, so he goes to pounce Evil Ernie because Evil Ernie heard him. He just steps to the side.
That's awful.
There's our the master of the House of Horrors making a quick notice. Pop in here, Steven saying Hey, everybody, I got a minute to say hey. Hope show's going well. I'll catch the replay. He is the one that runs the show. Me and well, I am Echo, and me and Echo. We're co-hosting it for him.
Yeah,
While
since
he's
Steven
actually
decided to become a big movie star, you know.
a star. He's a Polonia. He's a Polonia pal now.
Aw.
Would you ever extend the world you've created by having characters, you know, not linked to them, take place in the same world? Like
Actually,
like you see, like in Marvel or DC, they have the expanded universe where all the characters in the
yes.
same world.
We are actually doing I decided to do a crossover like miniseries with other indie creators where so for the weapon on the angelic weapon there's 4 gems and something happens in issue 2 at the end where they break. So they need to find those gems again to find a way to destroy the actual angelic weapon. So we decided to have them kind of jump into other worlds, kind of like Kingdom Hearts. So we have about 4 or 5 other creators, but they're also going to jump into like public domain, you know, stories and stuff and go through. So we have some comic creators that are going to be like Easter eggs in the background, but we're going to have other ones that are going to completely be in it and be in their worlds. So it's going to be really cool, and I'm really interested to see that. Yeah, I love crossovers.
I remember Malibu and Marvel did something one time. Well, when Marvel bought Malibu.
I collected Malibu because I thought it would be like the next big thing, so I jumped on it, and then it really didn't go anywhere. But I still have it. The ferret, and the ferret's the only one I remember. There was another one.
I have some of the Prime. There was a one. It was an M where it was a male warrior reincarnated as a female who had a kid and a husband. It's like he goes to being, I'm a big brave warrior too. What happened to that? And what
wasn't there something like I can't remember. The ferret I remember because I got it from I got it before Marvel bought them, so I had it when they were just Malibu. But I only remember ferret. But I know there's other ones that I read, but I can't remember a single one now. So I'm gonna have to go through the box.
I remember Prime being the big one. He was all big, jacked guy, but it was actually a kid who would grow a body made out of slime, and then when he got done, the body would turn back to slime, and the kid had to come out of it. And then he met a female version of him, and it's like he pulls her naked body out of the slime. He's like, I know what's going on. I can help you. But yeah, that was when you you had Malibu / Ultraverse.
The variant, Valiant.
Which, have you seen the newer stuff they did when they came back?
No, my brother was a big Valiant collector. I was stuck on Malibu, but I remember Valiant. I know they went bad, then went good, and now they went bad, and then now they're good again. Like, is that?
Well, you know what is they had the IP for some old titles, Tarok, Sola, Magnus. Wasn't there a 4th one in there? Well, I can't remember, but then Acclaim.
He'll get it.
Don't have a bad video game company. Buy a comic book company.
Yeah.
And so they went down, but the stories aren't as good as they were back in the 90s.
Of course.
And all.
Everything's better in the 80s than the 90s, don't you?
But it's also the artwork. Look at the artwork you had.
Yeah.
Malibu's artwork was at times. Well, you look at Prime, how big and jacked he was. Very cartoonish.
Yeah. Yeah, Malibu was more their colors were like darker, like brighter or softer, or I don't remember, but they were definitely more cartoony than regular ones, yeah.
Yeah, and Valiant, the characters would be they're jacked, and then you just see this lean figure. Marvel and DC had different kinds, and then you had Image.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. You pick up an issue and they're like, this is a woman, and you look at the women from them, and you look at this woman and they're going, holy shit, they draw a porn star? No, I mean, comic no woman's really going to have those curves from a comic book.
No.
But then you look at images and you're going, God damn, someone's a sick pervert. That was a great era for comics, though. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
I can remember, like, you're talking about Ghost Rider, Dan Ketch.
Yes. He just came back. Someone just told me he just came back, but I'm like, I'm not getting involved.
I got out of him when they decided to put him in a red and yellow suit and team him up with, what's that duck's name? Howard.
Oh.
Yes.
He
and
teamed up with Howard the duck.
Yes. That's what I said. That's it. I'm done. I got out. I can't read him anymore.
Yeah, I definitely got out before then. So,
but like, I can remember everyone had to go and get the new Spawn issue, but I had to get the new Ghost Rider. Did you ever have a title like that where everyone had to get all the other titles, but you had the one that everyone was like, "Don't get that one."
I was just I didn't pay attention to anything or anyone except Ghost Rider. My brother was into the Johnny Blaze, but I like Johnny Blaze and Spirits of Vengeance, but I never read any of the original comic books.
When the Catch Ghost Rider started getting popular, they started reprinting.
Yeah.
They called it the original Ghost Rider.
The original Ghost Rider. And I mean, it's kind of cool how they have a different take on it, how Johnny Blaze saw him as a demon and Danny Ketch sees him as a hero. I like that they have that. I mean, that's why Johnny Blaze came to destroy him. He's like, you need to be...
in the movie, the first Ghost Rider movie, they do reference, there is a Ketch Easter egg. His look is Ketch. But there's a Vengeance Easter egg in there?
No.
The bike that he rides when it turns into that look, go back and read the old comics. The one when Ghost Rider's fighting Vengeance.
Yeah.
That's Vengeance's bike.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was kind of like, wasn't it more Johnny Blaze anyway? Because wasn't he the stunt man, Johnny Blaze?
Yeah. But
yeah.
When he didn't use the chain.
Yeah.
So then
that's right.
When he's in jail, he puts on that coat and all of a sudden he boom, boom,
yeah.
spikes. But then he gets on the bike and he changes the bike. When you're looking at it going, if you read the comics, that's Vengeance's bike.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah. I mean, the funny thing, I thought the movie was fine. I mean, I think it could have been way better, but I like the fact that Nicolas Cage had to cover up his Ghost Rider tattoo to be Ghost Rider. So that's how he loved Ghost Rider.
And he just did his second superhero movie.
What he did? Was he just he just did a vampire one, right? Renfield?
He's in Flash.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
He also did.
It got leaked. His look.
Yeah, I think he also
motion capture, and to de-age him. You see those photos of him when he was the testing Superman suit from 30 years ago?
Yeah,
that's the look in the movie.
Really?
It's real quick.
I'm not a Flash fan. I never was. I just didn't find him all that interesting in the comics or anything. But I heard it bombed. But I just heard yesterday that Michael Keaton was in it and all this stuff as Batman. I was like, well, shit, that's the Batman I grew up on. So,
audio wise, Adam West is in it.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
What's his name? Reeves, not Christopher Reeves, but the other one, the one who played Superman before him.
Christopher Reeves is in the movie too.
Yeah, there was one before him. And not gonna lie, when they showed Christopher
Reeves, is it George Reeves?
Yes.
Hold on one second. Can I say something real quick?
What?
I wanted to touch base with you about the bike, with the Ghost Rider bike. What was really interesting about that was that bike itself was actually the same one that Peter Fonda had in the Easy Riders, that's the movie that broke Peter Fonda to fame. And
really?
Yeah,
that was the same bike that he used. That he used. That's why when you see him, walk by, he says, "Nice bike."
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. I love
that. There's a scene in a movie that what's his name? His co-star from that movie, Dennis Hopper made in the 80s called Science Project, where he wears a recreation of that outfit from Easy Rider.
Nice. I love these kind of Easter eggs. I have to be careful when I do mine because I don't want to get in trouble for licensing. So it's like I have to change it just enough so that I don't get in trouble, but the fans know what it is.
Yeah, just something little.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I think usually I'll like so for our Saw reference in book 2, I think I have like the little tricycle he uses, and it's on like on the side, and I think that there's a saying on the wall, but I like switch 2 of the words or something so that it's not quoted identically, because you get a lot of trouble for quoting something. So we changed like the words enough just so you know what it means, but you can't get in trouble for it. I was joking. I said to my husband, what's the difference between like an homage and like it being stolen? And he goes, your popularity. So it's true. Because look at Stranger Things. Their shows are like identically cut from like, past show. Like the Silence of the Lambs bit was like identical to, so they did all these things, but yeah, when you're popular, I guess it doesn't matter. So my goal in life is to be able to use any Easter egg I want. So there's the goal.
How would you react?
Easter eggs are really tough to do. I mean, I was just talking to a filmmaker earlier, and he did Easter eggs, including a scene from another movie in a franchise. And it's like, it wasn't quite the same, but if you're if you're a diehard fan, you can definitely pick up what they're trying to put down. It's an interesting thing. Is there such a thing as going too overboard with it? Like, like too much of a nod and a wink to the audience?
Oh yeah, I mean, you don't want to. Yeah, I only have one Easter egg per issue. But yeah, you don't want too much where you're just it's kind of like you're just I don't know, throwing it out there. Like I think for issue 3, it's Freddy Krueger's sweater, and it's to hint at something to come. Which probably no one will get, but it is the hint of something that's happening. And then another one we did we did the typewriter from Resident Evil, but instead of whatever, I can't remember what the name was, we put Chaos as the brand of typewriter. I think we have in book 2, I think we have like the potted plants that you would get in Resident Evil, like the red or the blue or the green.
A good one if you were to put in like an ink cartridge or whatever, the ribbon.
Yeah,
for someone they need it.
Yeah, we did little but I had like I'm like how close can I make it? Like if I change the color and all that stuff, and then I'm like, I'll probably never be popular enough, and then with my luck, that'll be the one thing that gets out there. But yeah, we like the little nods.
They're fun to spot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for Supernatural people, we have the car. They steal baby from Supernatural, and on the license plate on both the license plate on the cover and the door number on the hotel is Dean Winchester's birthday, so it's 124. Also, when he opens the back of the car, and they're like, "Who the hell's car did we steal?" You could see the bat Lucille from The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
which was also in Supernatural because it was a play on their father that also played.
Right.
Both, yeah.
It was going to be in a new Walking Dead thing, I guess.
Yeah, with I don't know. I stopped watching it, but Maggie, him and Maggie.
But Easter eggs are always fun, like playing games with love. This YouTube channel is dedicated to them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, did you ever see Ready Player One? I mean, that was just like
I've seen a little. Yeah. I was playing Back 4 Blood. You end up in this apartment building, and you look down at the rug. You're going, "This rug looks familiar," and then you see the tricycle, and you're like, "Oh, tricycle, familiar rug."
Yeah, yeah. We all love those things. Like I wanted to put since it was Silent Hill, I wanted to put the red radio, but I'm like, would that be too much? So I don't know. There's a fine line of being sued and then letting it go. Have
you heard the about the town that's based on Silent Hill's based on?
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, the what happened was every year they had this celebration where they burn garbage. And one year, and they burn it underground, and one year they
fell through a hole.
Yeah, and it's still on fire. What is it, like 30 years?
And I think they said it's got about another 500 years.
Yeah, and people did not leave. Like the government paid everyone to leave, and like I don't know how many, but I'm wild to get like 25 people stayed. I think the last one, last year there was one left. I don't know if he's still there, but they can't even get their mail because it's so toxic that the mail truck won't come in. So they have to go to another town.
They tried to say that they didn't start the fire on accident. They tried to say it started elsewhere. And this guy goes, "Oh, hello. I'm a guy who was mining illegally."
Yeah.
He's like, I was mining near where they said the fire started. And there was no fire there.
I'm just getting I'm getting an update here that Jamie, who lives in Pennsylvania, mentions that there are 5 people left in that town.
I can't believe there's anyone left in there. Like, it's just.
I know, it's not healthy.
I was watching the documentary and they were showing the guy was like in the house and he's like, I have to go 2 towns over to get my mail. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, why? You know, I understand it's a family home, but
you got to probably go 2 towns just to get groceries. Go see a doctor.
I mean, if their homes were so special, isn't there ways to move your house? I mean,
I know there is, because in Washington State we have there's a flight museum.
Yeah, see?
Boeing started in a barn. They picked the barn up and drove it miles. I don't know how many miles away to put it in this museum. If they can do that with a big ass barn, they can move a 2-story or 1-story house.
So they have no excuse. And I understand it was a nice town. They didn't want to leave it. They were born there, blah, blah. But I mean, you're in toxic fumes. I mean, get out, you know? So
you have to have a mask on to go out. You probably have to have all this stuff in your house, the air and stuff.
I would think that you would need the mask in the house too. I mean, your houses aren't, sealed proof, because you would, die from not being able to breathe. You run out of air.
How long is the fire? Let me ask this to Jamie. How long has the fire been burning, Jamie?
Was it the 60s or the 70s?
I think it's before that. I mean, let's see.
We have in here in Michigan, we actually have there's a town. There's a town. It's a shopping center. But if you get off the freeway, there's 2 oils.
53 years. Sorry. 53 years.
It sounds like there's oil derricks, and there's 2 of them, and they have been burning for years. I mean, I've been here for over 20 years, and every time we drive up there and go by there, they're still burning.
Yeah, it says it's been burning since 1962, and it's literally for the past 53 years.
That is crazy.
How it started is a mystery. It's not a mystery. They had a celebration every year.
The town's council has tried to basically, well, they're all dead by now, those people.
Yeah.
But they tried to basically, oh, we don't know. It must have happened elsewhere. We don't know.
Yeah. No.
Well,
they flat out admitted that they started it because every year they lit it. Like that was like they had a whole celebration every year. How it's still going is the mystery, I would say. Like, what the hell? Like, what? It's like connected to hell or something. I mean, have you seen the roads? They're like all, I don't even know how
they're all like, cracked and buckled, and this part's higher than the other. I mean, I've seen roads that have had landslides where part of it's high and the other part's down. That's how it looks.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Silent Hill. I mean, it's just the roads are all cracked and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty creepy. I won't go near it.
You said it was Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Supernatural, and Buffy.
Yep.
I mean, were you fans of Buffy? Because that was the show at one time.
Yeah. Actually, the funny thing is, I didn't watch it when it was on TV. Years later, it was on, like, I don't want to say back issues, reruns, and I was like, this is it's pretty good. And now we watch it. My husband and I watch it every year. He doesn't like it after she dies. He doesn't like the seasons after.
Oh, when they fought the god lady.
Glory. Yeah. Well, originally she was supposed to stay dead and it was supposed to end, but apparently the fans begged for it to come back. I don't know if that's true or not, because I wasn't watching it back then. But apparently that was how it was supposed to end, and then they made them bring it back. And it continues in the comic book. I don't know if it still is.
I did that for Smallville, because I have So what they call it season 9, because I have the first 2 graphic novels, including when he fights Metallo and he meets Superman. Not Superman, but Batman and the female Robin.
Yeah, I know it's at least season 10 because I got a cameo from Nicholas Brandon. He goes, "Oh, I wrote the comic for season 10 and Buffy." So there's at least 8, 9, and 10. So, but I don't know if it kept going. But
well,
I mean,
we're going to be starting a new storyline where like she's old and gray and stuff fighting, and words all like apocalyptic and vampires and stuff. And not everyone's alive. Some are dead, and she's all looking like Sarah Connor.
So there was an indie that did that. I think it was indie, but I was watching the launch for it, and I don't know how he was allowed to get away with that. Because he made Buffy an old woman. And I don't know if it funded, but I was like, how isn't that like a licensing thing? Unless they consider it a parody because she's an old woman. I don't know, but he did Buffy as an old woman. So
well, is there other novels, Buffy novels or comic books being made today by anybody?
I think it's still going.
Publishing houses, what they'll do is like, that's why you see Star Trek and Star Wars and everything else. You see all their books is that they have a guideline for characters. You can write a Buffy book, but you have to obey like you can't kill her off. You can't kill any of the characters off.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't do.
Man,
you can do
Power
things
Rangers. The original Power Rangers are still going because they have a storyline now where Rita's kicked Zed's ass. Zed's become a Power Ranger, and they got to go fight the super-powered Rita, who now looks drop-dead sexy.
Yeah.
It says it stopped. 20. I'm not even close. It stopped 2011 on Dark Horse. Did comics from 2007 to 2011.
Dark Horse. Man, Dark Horse had a lot of those. They had what? Terminator, RoboCop, Alien, Predator.
I kind of like the art of the comic.
Dark Horse was. I love the logo, by the way. The chess piece, the knight.
Yeah. Me too.
Have you seen any of your characters as cosplays?
Oh.
No, not yet. But I mean, I just started. So, but I know I did see fan art for our cover for issue 2. It has Ken Hunt, who was the inker and penciler on Batman, Harley Quinn, a couple of those. He did this cover, and the Lady Death Universe current colorist CC is the one that colored it, and someone did the fan art, and it was actually pretty good. That's all I've seen so far. So, I mean, it's easy to cosplay. I mean, in the first couple of issues, she just has a green shirt and jeans and her gun and dagger strapped to him. And Draven never changes. He's got like a blue shirt and like black jeans the whole time. So, and now she's wearing a red dress. So we're gonna switch her into an outfit that she wore in the prequel. It's kind of a nod to Black Canary. And we had her running around in fishnet stockings for the first issue. So we're not going to do that, but we are going to have her have the shirt, the jacket, and the gloves, and then she'll have like jeans on, so she doesn't look like a hooker or something while she's running around fighting zombies.
Who's your favorite fiction, comic book character or fictional character?
Be right
back. Fictional character? You mean besides Ghost Rider?
Right. I mean, who's your favorite female character?
Oh, female. Black Cat. I love the Black Cat from Marvel. I don't know.
The original one.
Felicia Hardy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I like the white hair. I liked her spunk. I even have like a patch that I was supposed to put on my jacket. I never did. I didn't want to ruin it, but I always wanted her to be Spider-Man. But I mean, she wasn't, because she really only loved Spider-Man. She didn't like Peter Parker, but I just loved Felicia Harding. But yeah, I would say Black Cat. I don't know whatever happened to her, but she's freaking sexy too.
I think she's. As far as I know, she's still in the Marvel universe. I just haven't seen her. I'm not sure. I think Sony owns her. I think Sony owns her, so it's probably why we won't see her in the MCU.
That sucks.
Well, that's the reason why we have. That's why we have Zendaya in there and not Mary Jane Watson, because Sony owns all.
Oh, is that why? I didn't know that.
Okay. Hello? Are you still there, Echo? Echo?
Is that a picture of a cat?
Oh, yes. In the upper right-hand corner. Yes, that is the cheetah.
Nice. I have 4 cats, so I love cats.
Yeah, cheetahs don't get along well with domestic cats. So, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, he gets rather aggressive. Yeah, I'd like to now let's talk a little bit about your fundraiser. Now, what are you trying to do with the money you're trying to raise? How much money are you trying to raise, and what are your goals with it? Are you going to try to get the book into more stores, more brick and mortar stores?
Pretty much. So, the comic is already made. I'm just getting money to print it and to do the next one. So the goal has been met. I only had the goal for 1,000. I mean, I need 2,800, but that would help pay for the artist. I already paid for the artist, but help pay for the next issue of the artist. But pretty much all I look for is the printing, and just hope I get more since they're already made. So it's already funded. I'm on Kickstarter now. I started Tuesday. We have 49 backers so far. And so far so good. I mean, it's a little slower, but it's really close to the last one. So I don't know how much it's going to affect it, because we're releasing them so close together. It's every other month. So we'll see how that goes. If you search, the easiest way to find us on Kickstarter, if you just search Worthy Chaos, we're the only thing that pops up. So it makes it a lot easier. And it's going to be live until July 17th at like 4 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll see how far we can get. Issue 6 is almost done. And 7 will probably start in a week. So that'll be all of book 1. And then a graphic novel will be made.
Now, are you going to go ahead and you don't want to use Kickstarter for every issue, right? So are you trying to expand into to get the book into more hands as possible?
Right now I'm just doing Kickstarters for each one.
Okay. Oh, for each one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one ends July 17th, and like the next day we literally go into pre-launch, and then we launch again August 15th, and then we will start again October 3rd and end on Halloween, and then I'm taking the holiday off, and then January 23rd starts book 2.
Just for the record, October 3rd is not a good day. October 2nd is a better day. It's the best day in October ever.
Is it your birthday?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But that's still not the best day in October. October 1st is actually the best day to do it, because that marks the first day of what, Echo?
No, October 1st is a bad day.
No,
See,
that's the,
no.
that's
Look.
the best day.
On October 1st, 1978, in Australia, this movie named Patrick was released. Really terrible movie. Really terrible. Just like Pat here, my real name's also Pat, and I was born the day afterwards in America. When I turned 40, I decided to celebrate my 40th birthday by watching that movie. It sucked.
What is it called?
Patrick.
Oh.
It's basically this guy's like supposed to be in a coma or something with his eyes open the whole time, and it's the whole movie. He's just like,
okay, he told that. Wait a minute, hold on. You're gonna bring Corissa down. We gotta tell her about the real powerful date in October 1st.
Spooktacular.
That's right. Damn it! Tell him about the Spooktacular. Echo.
Spooktacular is this thing that 365 days a year this guy over here goes crazy about.
Not me. It's not my. I have nothing to do with this. This is all Hobbs' day.
It's
Hobbs is the one that came up with
Hollywood.
this
It's a
spectacular.
Halloween month-long extravaganza that everyone does.
Yeah, our buddy Hobbs, who was just here for a minute, he came by and he started this spectacular because he loves Halloween. He loves Halloween, and so he came out with a month-long celebration of all things Halloween, and we call it the spectacular.
Nice. Yeah, Halloween is my favorite holiday. We would like to release a book every Halloween. The only complication is that the other ones get a lot longer. So the first two we could definitely do. Book 3 I think we can do, but I doubt the rest would be, because they're like book 3 is 10 issues and 4 and 5 are even longer. So they're probably between 11 and 14 issues. So see how that goes.
Where do you come up with your ideas? Is it hard to come up with original ideas when you're surrounded by other magazines, other stories that like like sometimes does the influence overwhelm the creative part of you?
Not really. I mean, I just I don't know where the ideas come from. I sit down and I write. I had no idea how to even finish book 5 of the spinoff, and then I actually had a dream about it, and it was perfect. And then for the book 1, I wasn't even planning on series 2, book 1 yet, and I had this awesome idea, and I woke up at like 2 a.m. and wrote it. And I was like 15,000 words into it. So I have no idea where they come from. It would be interesting to be able to tap that into that. But nope, every idea we'll either have a dream, we'll have a thought, we'll talk about it, and something will stir it. In the middle of work, I'll be like, oh, I should do that for whatever. So everything's an inspiration. But it isn't until I sit down and start writing where anything comes. I don't even know how the reply is going to end while I'm writing. So
I know when I would write, the ending was hard. One of the worst. Okay, there's this guy called Bentley Little. He's an author. He has some of the worst endings ever. They're rushed.
We do our endings first. We like to do it first and then connect back to it.
I was given in 7th grade. I was given a little writing exercise where the teacher would give us a picture. And we had to write a story based on that picture.
How did it go?
I only wrote one good one about some guy and his demonic horse. And he gave me a picture with a snowboarder, and I'm like, dude, like nothing came to my head.
Well, I will say, so I'm a role player and I've role played other characters. I've never had ideas come as easily as these. I've always been somewhat creative when role playing, but I used to struggle with 500 word replies. So it's just this, like, I've been asked to write other people's comics. I go, it won't work. It's got to be this story. It's just these characters are in my head, and that's where all the ideas come. So I couldn't write anyone else's book.
Yeah, I can see that. We see that in like, okay, you're gonna write a Spider-Man one, but we know you're used to writing, let's say, I mean, look at Todd McFarlane. He wrote Spider-Man and whoever else, but like you're used to writing Batman, now you're gonna write Spider-Man. Superman, you gotta write Wolverine.
Yeah.
So let me ask you some good questions here. We'll get into, no, as far as get into the meat and potatoes of this, because you just touched on something here. What is your feelings, Corissa, about seeing known characters being changed over, to fit a narrative? Someone came inside your book and after you left it or what have you, and they took Draven and they made him, from a vampire into a human, and instead of a blonde, he's now, a swarthy. Do you like that idea when people come in and change their characters over, or are you one where it's like, listen, if you want that character, create the character yourself? What are your feelings?
I don't believe that any traditional characters should be changed. I don't feel that it's appropriate. They have a certain story and they've been this way for so long. I mean, my characters were written a certain way, which is why I will never license my characters. Like, they will never be licensed out. I eventually want to make an animated series about them, but I would have to be the one in control. I would never license them out. I'm very particular about it. I'm super strict about my characters. So no, I wouldn't want anyone to change them. But if somebody, like, I always wondered that for anything. Like, I don't even wonder, like, in Supernatural, where they took names of demons and angels and they made a whole new character of why use the name then, you know? Like, all our demons and angels are from scriptures, and they all follow, like, they have their own personalities, but their jobs and their things that have done, they actually happen in written scripture, you know? So they follow a certain story, you know, rules. But like Supernatural would come in and they just give someone a name. Like, they named Remnal, they named them the Prince of Hell when he's that's my angel. He's a powerful angel. He was the one that judged souls on earth and brought them to heaven. He did make Nephilims, which was a sin against God in scripture. Which kind of fit because he made Seraphina. So that fit. But, you know, I don't know. I don't like when people change things around like that. Like, if you want to do like generic characters, like we made subspecies. We didn't want to make vampires different. We made them subspecies of vampires because we did not want to change, you know, what people used to know. I'm not all for changing. To me, it's not progressive. To me, you're changing a character, and we liked it the way it was. It was working. So why would you change it? So make a new character. Be creative.
Hell, they changed. When I watched Flash, they changed Barry's nationality.
Oh, really? I didn't even know anything about it. I never read The Flash. I don't watch The Flash.
Well, you know, he's Caucasian.
Yeah.
Yet in the movie, his mom's speaking Spanish to him. You get the idea that he's Mexican.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do that. Then people get really upset too when.
Well, like, look at what they did to The Witcher. I mean, you people are fans of something for a reason. They like it for a reason. So why would you change it from something they wanted? Just make a new story. You know, like the Velma show, you know.
Oh, God.
I mean, I didn't watch it, but I know enough about it. Like, and I know for a fact that it was supposed to be a different story, but they thought that they can use the IP to get more viewers.
I watched all of that and
I
reviewed it.
Glutton for punishment.
I got sick during it.
Echo's favorite.
The joke was I got sick. But look at like Halo. We never saw Master Chief's face. I understand you see his face in that show.
Really? I just don't know why you would change things. That they're popular for a reason. It's a fan favorite for a reason. So,
Judge Dredd, you know that you see his face in the original Judge Dredd movie.
Sorry, I was reading the comment. What happened?
Okay, in the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd, he hardly wears.
The helmet. He wanted his face seen because he's right. You know, yeah. Do I see my characters collab? I don't think I'm ever allowed to do that, but I would love to cross over. But I would want to be with Nightwing or Ghost Rider, like someone that I know. Batman would be cool too. Yeah, I would love to do that. So if I ever get popular enough and they let me, I would absolutely.
And with Ghost Rider, we've seen there's different. Eventually, they introduced there was other Ghost Riders in the world.
Yeah.
So it could be a whole different Ghost Rider.
Yeah. See, what's funny about that is
mode.
It would be like my character would probably hunt him down because he's a supernatural hunter. So it would be interesting to see how she doesn't like keep attacking him. So he'll have to do something to prove, you know, like that he's not bad. He'll probably have to save her life in front of Draven or something for them to tolerate this flaming skull. But yeah, I would absolutely love to do that. But I don't know if I'm ever popular enough. We'll see.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you this question, Corissa. How much does a book per month or per release? How much does it have to make for you to advance to do the next one? I mean, what are you looking for? You know, what's the goal as far as the sales go? Would you take it digital? Would digital be an option for you?
Digital release?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do sell the PDFs if that's what you mean. So to keep making these at the pace that I'm making and not go into further depth that I've gone into, I would need to probably bring in regularly about 3,500. Yeah. So, and it did that the last campaign, so that worked out. But I mean, if it doesn't, I'm still gonna make them. But that's how it would eventually have to bring into Kickstarter. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, collaborate. And how about this? Have you ever thought about crossing over? Have you ever thought of crossing over with a different independent company? Has someone, because you mentioned earlier someone had asked you to write for their books. Has someone ever approached you and say, "I'd like to do maybe do a one-off team up issue with you"? So that would be it'd be sort of like a promo for your work and a promo for the other person's work.
Yeah, we do want to do simplest level. We're gonna cross promote and have like prints made of like posters of the two characters together. But I will eventually do the crossover where they will cross over with at least 4 other indies. And I invite all indies to cross over into it because I love crossovers. So
I do too. I do. I love crossovers. The only one the only one I did not like. I remember when the first one came out was '76 when Superman and Spider-Man crossed over. That was massive. They came out with a super giant sized issue of that.
There was a crossover, but I don't remember if it was a book or a comic book of the Teen Titans and X-Men. And I loved both of those, so I was super excited for that. And now I can't remember if I even read it.
Was that the Teen Titans and Generation X or whatever?
It was supposed to be Teen Titans and X-Men. Because Gambit was my favorite, so he had to have been in it. But I don't remember if it actually happened or if I was just told it was going to happen. I remember seeing a cover, though. So now I don't know.
I remember it was Spawn and Batman.
I can see that.
Yeah, they did it. I think they did like 4 or 5 novels with X-Men and Star Trek.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I think with David did Transformers and Star Trek. With the Enterprise turning out to be a Transformer, they have to help save the day.
Let's see. It says The Uncanny X-Men and New Teen Titans. The Uncanny X-Men and the New Teen Titans is a crossover comic book published 1982. Yeah, so it did.
Yeah, I was trying because I remember the Teen Titans and that. I was trying to remember when they were called the New Teen Titans. Because eventually they were just called. You have the Teen Titans and the Titans.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one was Robin, and then there was when he turned into Nightwing, and I started watching the show, but I got distracted when they were doing other characters. I don't remember.
Are you talking about the Titan TV series?
Yeah, like they were doing an origin thing for I think the Hawk or whatever the heck they are, and then I got distracted. And I haven't gone back yet, but I love Nightwing, so I was like waiting for him to put the Nightwing outfit on. And
I liked it when they brought Jericho in. They introduced Jericho in live action. They teased him in the cartoon.
Yeah.
But in the cartoon, they showed this guy. It's Jericho, and he's just like, they don't give you his backstory. And then in Titans, there's his backstory. That's Jericho. He's like, yes, finally.
Yeah, I mean, I should get back to watching that show because I want to see Nightwing. But
okay, outside of your title,
which character would you like to see of yours? Which one would you like to see be on the big screen if you got a chance to do that?
My characters or regular characters?
Your characters. What character would you like to see on the screen, and who would you like to see playing the role?
So unfortunately, all the people that I had in my vision of them are now too old to do it. But originally, I wanted Christian Kane to be Draven and Alana Tao to be Seraphina, but now they're too old, so I really don't know.
If it's animated, they can do it.
Well, that's why I want animated, because I want all the voices from those people to do them. Like I want all the voices from Supernatural, Jensen and Jared and all them. Christian Kane, I was kind of being a smartass the other day where I said kind of like with Harry Potter, you had to be born in the UK. So I said to do voices on the show, you had to guest star in Supernatural. So that would be Christian Kane, Alana
who would voice Anubis?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, he doesn't really talk. See, now Alan Tudyk would be great because he does all the voices of all the. Because he doesn't talk, he just kind of growls and roars. So I would probably do Alan Tudyk to do it because he's all the animals, right? In Disney, doesn't he do all the animals?
I think there was a video of the guy, and they're showing the guy. He's just like doing all the roars, pitching his nose, and he's doing all these sounds. It's like, holy hell!
Yeah, in the end of our book 5, there's in the epilogue, you see that Hades and Hecate are gonna team up with Anubis, and she kind of talks to him like she understands him, but he doesn't talk back. So it's kind of it's like an I Am Groot situation, I guess.
Well, yeah. As far as the, see, Steve mentioned the anime actors who would jump at a chance. Yeah, I guess voice actor. Yeah, you're right. I mean, voice acting would be interesting to match up a good voice actor with your character. Yeah. I was going to mention that they restarted Serenity, or I shouldn't say Serenity, but Firefly.
They're finally pulling the trigger on that one and going with that.
Didn't they kill him? Yeah. Like who are the characters? I mean, new characters.
They killed a whole bunch of them. A few of them in the movie.
Yeah, they killed the Alan Tudyk character. Yeah. He's gone, but the rest of them survived.
I know, but he was the best character.
I've never seen that show. I've only seen the movie. Maybe if I had seen the show, I would have probably enjoyed the movie. Well, I did enjoy the movie, but maybe I would have enjoyed it a whole bunch more.
Well, they showed the show out of order, so they screwed it up. Fox was mentally messed up in the head, and they played it out of order, and nobody understood anything that was happening. So it wasn't really until the DVD was released that they actually got the story kind of out there. So yeah, they should re-release it, but they got to bring Alan back because he's the best part. And it's funny because Fox didn't even want them to be married. It wasn't even that they were interracial. They just did not want married characters, and they actually fought back on it. And they said no, they have to be married. Or Josh Whedon said they have to be married. So I think Fox just wanted to do them.
Here's what for you. Would you ever do like a sci-fi based comic?
Yeah. I love sci-fi.
Isn't Resident Evil pretty much a science fiction book?
It's more horror, I guess. It is sci-fi if you think about it, because all that stuff. But I think it's under the genre of horror. So yeah,
horror.
Yeah. Yeah,
sci-fi is fun.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
the only hard part is some of the sci-fi when you trying to pronounce some of the words.
Yeah, and being dyslexic, I can't pronounce half of them. But I would do my characters in any universe pretty much like fantasy. I would do fantasy. Right now they're in a magical library, so they're actually stuck in like a Jurassic Park era. So they're fighting off. That's where the saber-toothed tiger comes into. So they could go into medieval era or dragons or whatever. So they're very versatile characters, which I like. So
if you want to make it more of an apex predator other than a saber-tooth, just let me know, and you can do a saber-tooth cheetah.
Saw that one coming.
Yeah,
I'm all for that. All the firepower and 3 times the speed.
I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm. I can't tell you he's flopped down over here. He's not really.
I gotta finish organizing this room so my cats can come in. But right now there's so much.
That
stuff.
One cover, that poster you got behind you there with Anubis.
Yeah.
That one is awesome.
That is I should probably move these out of the way so people can see it. But yeah, that's a really good fight scene, and he just looks so badass there. Like it just, yeah, that's my internal artist. He's just remarkable. We have on our campaign, we have handmade statues of Anubis in a different pose, but I want to get this one done next. So if we ever sell the one we have, then we'll probably get that one. But yeah. We have a lot of weird merch because I love merch. So we have plushies.
So you got plushies.
Yeah. So we have a plushie Anubis. There's only 4 left, and I'm not making them again. They're all handmade. We have our zombie merman. We have a very cute version of that demon there, which is the fur demon with the demon wings and the tail on fire. Yeah, that's an add-on. And our next campaign in August, it has our skeleton birds.
That one there is holding right there. That looks like you, Echo.
When I wear one of my masks.
Yeah. And then we have new this time is the metal covers, which is you can get all the back issues and metal covers as a catch-up tier. And our tiers are they welcome a lot of new people. So like you can get issue 1 as a PDF. You can get I just realized we went past the stretch goal and I didn't say anything. We went past the stretch goal today. So now if you just buy a $5 issue 1 PDF, you get the black and white version and the colored version with it, but you also get 16 other number 1 PDFs as the stretch goal. So for $5 you're going to get 18 PDFs. And we also have the catch-up tier for PDF. We have the catch-up tier printed, and we have the catch-up tier in metal print, metal covers. And then we have everything as back issues. So like you can get any variant or back issues, PDF or otherwise, you can get all that as add-ons because we don't make people, buy the expensive tiers. Oh, we also have a song that was made and written for our characters. So that's an add-on for like $4. You can download the song. And we have a tier and an add-on where you can be drawn in as a zombie in issue 8. There's only 10 of those, but you can pick your outfit. My artist used to do portraits, so it does a really good job. And you get to pick your demise. So anyway, you want to get killed, or you could stagger on as a zombie.
I like that. Pick your demise. I want to die, be ran over by a lawnmower.
Yeah,
I want to get killed by the saber cheetah.
Yeah. Yeah, they at the con I kept bringing it up and everyone had the most unique things. Like one wanted internal combustion. I was like, well, you're a decomposing body, so you could just randomly combust. I'm fine with that.
Okay, now's the point where I tell a bad joke. Cause of death, implosion.
Yeah. So we have that. Not only do I think the add-on is $99. Not only do you get to be drawn in as a comic book character, be drawn into a comic book, you'll get it 3 months early as a PDF. So it comes out in January 23rd, but you'll probably have it like October, November. So yeah, it's a little add-on.
And when's your next Kickstarter starting?
August 15th and then October 3rd.
So what we'll do for this is that we'll put down the Kickstarter for this one right here, and then when it ends or when the new one starts, you let me know. Sure. You let me know. I sent you a friend request, by the way.
I accepted.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
After your after the new one starts, let me know, and I'll come back to this one. I'll update the information. I'll keep this constantly updated until I have you come over to 8 Questions With. I gotta say one thing. I've been sitting on my ass here for like the last 30 minutes, but man, I'm so sorry that people did that to you because we talk about this happening to us all the time. Like the guests don't show up, and it's really sort of alarming and sort of sad to hear that. That happened to you, and it happened to you a lot. And it's like, do people really do that? I was just like, I'm appalled by that.
It's very upsetting because I booked up my days so much, and then I told I think I told you that I couldn't do one, and then that person canceled, and I was like, I just told them I couldn't do it and it's so like Tuesday was the no show, Thursday was the no show, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday there was another 4 cancellations. So and it's always last minute.
Are you writing all these people down, their names down, so that you can know not to go back to them? Because
I'm like an unofficial PR person for new indie people. So I actually have an Excel sheet of all the shows I'm on. How I like them. I've been on 70 something shows already, and there's only 3 I won't go back. And now I won't do obviously the one that stood me up, because he not only did he stand me up, the last one he didn't even release, and it wasn't live, so it's not like anyone saw it. Nobody saw it.
He lied to you.
Yeah, and he lied to me. So I'll never do that one again. And then there was another one that was, oh man, it was 2 hours of condescending behavior of talking about, whatever. I don't know. I know I'm new and I take hints and tips and stuff, but it was just so condescending. And then when he goes, okay, now pitch, like I put my anxiety through the roof because he put me on display, and I was like, okay. So like I went to pitch and I was literally 4 words in where he was like, time out, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding. Now I lost my train of thought. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm already nervous on shows. And so I just wanted to get off that show as soon as I could. The only other one that I went on, which he's kind of trying to make up for now, and he actually invited me on, and I said no, but we'll see. So I was on this one show with 6 other people, and it was live, and there was at least 10 people in the chat. And he was pulling up people's Kickstarters. And again, I'm very new. So when it came to my Kickstarter, my page had like the story first. So you had to scroll down like 5 seconds to get the pictures. For 20 minutes, he started bad-mouthing it about how it wasn't done right and how the pictures should be first, and he shouldn't have to scroll to get the pictures, and I don't know what I'm doing, and this is really stupid. But 20 minutes. So much so that people left bad comments on his YouTube saying Corissa doesn't deserve that. Why are you treating her like that? And which actually really made me feel better. And then I had people message me after saying, I'm so sorry I treated you that way. Why don't you come on our show? We would never do that to you. So it was a very uncomfortable situation. And then he must have read the comments, and then he came and said, I was just trying to help, right? And I was like, all you had to say was, have you ever tried putting the pictures first? Like, you didn't need 20 minutes of putting me down on the air where I can't even defend myself, So that
criticizing somebody and being an ass is not helping.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't ask for advice, and I don't mind advice. It's just there's ways to do it. I mean, all he had to flat out say was try putting the pictures first. And I did. And I did take his advice. I just did not like being badmouthed for 20 minutes. And my co-writer's like, I could see you were trying not to say anything. I was like, because I don't want to go off on him because it'll look bad on me. I'll look like the one that couldn't handle criticism, or I'll look at, like I have a temper. So I kept my mouth shut, but it was not a very comfortable situation. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at your Kickstarter now. It looks pretty good.
Hey, thank you.
I'm looking at Snow's work right here. Snow says that if you ever
because I like the way Anubis looks.
Yeah, me too.
There's an artist in the chat. It says he's amazing at drawing animals. If you ever need some free work done, he does not work for money. And always better to work for a little bit of money. When people say they work for free, it never works out. It never works out because there's no investment there. Well, but and you want to pay for the other person's talent. It's very generous to sit there and say, I could do something for free, but I never felt comfortable with that. It's like,
yeah,
have him come on and say, I want to give you something for it, because
the only time I accepted free work was I spent thousands on trying to find an artist, and I spent months trying to find an artist, and I kept buying the character designs, and it was the worst thing money I ever spent on. So I got so upset about it, I posted 2 chapters of my story and said, if anyone wants to do a free test page, that you could be hired for a 45 issue story. So I had 5 people working on it, and which I was really surprised. However, my artist that I currently have came to me during that time, and he goes, are you taking any more submissions? And I said, I'll make a deal with you. You have 2 options. You can either hand in a free page now and I'll look at it first, or you wait till those 5 are done, and if I don't select one of those, I'll pay you for a page. So he handed me a free one, and I hired him on the spot. So yeah. And now he's getting monies. He's still underpaid though.
When it comes to your covers, does he just do it based on the story, or do you kind of tell him what you want?
I love my artist to death, but he is the worst at covers. Like, I have to literally, I don't know why it's so difficult for him to do covers. I think he gets nervous, so I have to literally spell them out what I need. But generally, it's a lot harder to get him to do a cover. I don't know why. I mean, I don't tell him with the script. he gets like 2 sentences and he does a whole damn page. I mean, he does for the cover. He's just, I don't know. The easiest one is the homage cover for issue 4 because I sent him the Supernatural cover and said, this is what I want. So I've been doing that. I've been showing him like, people's stance or whatever, and it's worked out a lot better. But this is going to sound really stupid, but the picture you see, the cover of Serafina about to cut the vampire's head off for touching her man. I described that I described it the same way, but he did it completely different. And it had like a very sexual scene, like with the vampire, like touching Draven. I was like, no, you can't have that there. So we had to redo the entire cover. I was like, I'll pay you for it, but you have to redo the entire cover. So he's great at drawing them, but composition for covers, no, it's I hate it. And I hate telling anyone to do. I can never think of covers. I love doing variants because I'm like, oh, you have all the freedom in the world. Just do whatever the hell you want. So I don't have to worry about it. But yeah.
We do have a few minutes left for some questions. So you have some questions for our guest, Corissa Grant. We will take some questions now because our time is almost up, and we want to let her. Get back to creating.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them here. If not, all of Carissa's socials will be down with in the description box. All you need to do is just go down there, and including her webpage, we'll have her Kickstarter down there, and anything else that we can fit in there that is conducive to her and getting her book out and big will be down beneath the description box. God, I can't talk anymore.
One asked a question: how do you get seen as a writer? If you're asking how do I get my story out there, you're watching it. doing podcasts is the only way for me to get my story out there.
When he said we we're going to interview you, and I just looked you up on YouTube, and I was all these interviews that you had done will come up. That's how I knew about the whole Resident Evil 2 thing. I saw all these ones I'm watching, so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, people are starting to watch them because I've had people like someone came up to me today. I say come up to me. Someone sent me a message, and they said, I saw your interview, and I'm sorry about your artist stealing your $3,000. I was like, I know. I said I tell that story in every single interview. People are gonna get sick of hearing about it, but I will say, and I said it to her, I'm still in debt over that $5,000, but I'm glad it happened because if it hadn't happened and I got stuck with that artist, I would not be where I am. So I have to say it was worth it to find my artist. And I think he's the best thing. The second best thing. My co-writer would be the first best thing. But the second best thing to happen to the story. And I'm very, very lucky to have him on the team and all that stuff.
Hey, Kevin. How are you? Our friend Kevin here, Haunted by Horror. He has a question for you. He says, have you ever thought of having a different person do the covers, or would that be insulting to the artist?
Okay, so there's I have two trains of thought on that. I do have variants now. I used to not because I felt like it was false advertising for the book. I really like the artist to do the cover itself so that you know what the internal art's going to look like. However, apparently variants are big. So I do have 2 variants per Kickstarter. So right now you have your choice of 3 covers. And I'm probably going to keep them at 3 covers. But when I go to shows and stuff, it's only his really because I want people to see what they're going to get. But yeah, at first I thought that was a bad idea to do that. But I mean, everyone does it. I mean, DC does it. But I mean, wouldn't you feel like if you saw this beautiful artwork on the cover and then you open it and it's like completely different, wouldn't you feel like, I don't know, heartbroken?
No. I used to collect the Shadow books or the Shadow novels, and they had some graphic novels as well. And the cover of the books was by Jim Steranko, but it wasn't him that drew the book. He did the cover, but he didn't draw the book. But it didn't take anything away from it as long as the story was good.
Yeah. Well, I do like the variants because I do like seeing different. Like I love the variant. You see the one with the Anubis on the cover. I love that one. I actually have the original art right here. He did 2 of the covers. And this is the variant one that you could see. It's on the website, on the Kickstarter, whatever. So I love that art. I love the Ken Hunt DC artist one. He's doing the graphic novel cover, and he keeps sending me these snippets of it, and I'm just like, it looks freaking amazing. So yeah, and the Ian Chase Nichols did our issue 2 variant, and he's actually doing our issue 6 variant. He worked on the Tick and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Red Sonja. So he's doing a wraparound cover of the vampires attacking the characters, and he showed me he gave my character a flamethrower. So I'm thrilled. So yeah, I do have other artists do the covers now, and it gets really expensive, but it's fun to do too.
Let's see. Snow says that's gorgeous. Let's see. Kevin's mentioning. I think it would only be heartbreaking if the art inside of the book wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Right. You get that cover, and then inside would be
Yeah.
Jim Steranko on the outside, and myself on the inside. Yeah.
Especially if you've got a more of an established artist, let the artwork be on the outside.
Yeah.
If it's a Jack Kirby, put the Jack Kirby on the outside.
Yeah.
Oh. I was never a big Jack Kirby fan.
No.
George Perez, John Byrne were and Steranko were my 3 favorites. Let's see. Snow mentions very delicate choices there. This is great. Do you have a YouTube channel as well, Corissa?
I have one. I have not really put it into production yet. I have some stuff on there, but there is a Worthy Chaos YouTube. We do have a Worthy Chaos Facebook group, which we started about 4 weeks ago. We only have about 600 members right now, but we post pictures, covers, progression covers, rewards, pages, all that stuff. Twitter too is at @worthy_chaos, and we have 5.2 thousand followers, and we use that too to post a lot of stuff. And anyone can add me, Corissa Grant. I'm like the kid that will get kidnapped. I talk to anybody. But yeah, and if anyone is like an indie creator, I definitely like to help them get started, because I had people help me get started. So
that's actually pretty cool to do that. Someone helped you. I call it this cycle of kindness.
Yeah, pay it forward.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And just hope that they follow suit.
Yeah, I mean, the person that came up to me today that said, I said, come up to me, but the person that messaged me today who said, I saw your, that, and I said, oh, do you want to read, issue 1? And then she sent me her issue 1. And I was like, is this on Kickstarter? And she's like, no. And I was like, well, we're getting this on Kickstarter. Why would you make a comic? She goes, I don't think it's ready. I was like, it's drawn, it's lettered, it looks great. So I'm actually going to help her do a pre-launch, and then I'm going to have her launch it in October with mine, so we could cross promote. So hopefully we'll get her some money too. So
and Snow's asking another question. Have you ever considered starting your own distributing? Man, that's hard to do with paper now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's a little bit. I've told people that I would help them, like if they want to be put on my site, and advertise on my site for free, or sell off my site, I'm fine with that. At the bottom of my Kickstarter, I have recommendations for live Kickstarters and all that stuff. But I probably wouldn't distribute them. I mean, it's costing me a fortune to release these, so I really can't see that. But I do have a joke that now has come somewhat of a reality that I have to do it. But if I ever, in the next couple of years, if I ever reach 500 backers, I have to get my first tattoo of my logo on my leg, and film it, because I'm a wuss, so I really don't want to do that. But the people get to vote on what the saying is underneath it, so we'll see how that goes.
Those Lego figures.
Oh, thank you so much, Kevin. Kevin just dropped down the Facebook group. If you guys all want to go over and join it, by all means do so. That would be very cool.
Yeah, I got my Anubis Lego figures yesterday in the mail. Aren't they cute? The little Anubis figure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be at the next campaign. I'm trying to have a staff made. I had ordered them like months ago, but I guess I don't know where the hell they are. But yeah, and then I bought molds of my character of Anubis. I think it's a cute chibi Anubis, so I'm gonna try to make some resin. Actually, you'll appreciate this. Not a lot of people get what I'm saying. So my husband came up with a name for my resin, a line of my stuff. We're calling it Resin Ain't Evil, to be like Resident Evil.
Oh.
So we're gonna have that. It's gonna be our little.
Oh my gosh, you need to trademark that.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna have to do that. But we're gonna make little coins and stuff and little things like that. So hopefully we can get the resin stuff going. We're gonna make some coasters and stuff. So I am gonna start making stuff. I have them all set up, but I'm waiting to sell the merch that I have. So I think there's one more.
I was actually thinking myself, I'm going like, you have 45 books in the future. I'm thinking, man, that's a lot of books in the future. But now it allows you to go back and start promoting.
Yeah.
Now, as far as physical, putting your books in physical brick and mortar stores, is it hard to do that? I mean, how do you do that? Do you just call people one by one and tell them you're?
I drove to 10 or 15 different stores and they all agreed to put it on their shelves. So that's how I got those in there. Now, further away, I did call some. I might mail some there. But I'm not sure yet because it doesn't sell itself yet because I kind of have to explain it. Though, I mean, I sold a few, but I think that Kickstarter so far is the best way that's worked out the best for me. But eventually I'll probably, go out more into brick and mortar. I do the graphic novel I'm going to try to get it. I'm going to probably put it on Amazon. One of my friends knows somebody at the Barnes and Nobles Corporation. So we're going to try to get it into Barnes and Nobles. So I'm probably going to get the graphic novel released hopefully this October. So
Snow mentions offer let's see make
Anubis
baubles. Yep. Yep.
I want to get an action figure, but I had somebody that got their action figure for a somewhat decent price and they never wrote me back, and I'm pretty pissy about it. I am going to get the plushies eventually commercially released next year because these are so expensive to make. I mean, it cost me like $65 just to make this. So there's 4 left, so it's limited edition. But once the 4 sells, I'm not gonna make them again.
He does. Anubis does look like a kitty there.
Yeah. But
that's awesome.
He holds a staff that he has in his hand.
Well, if Anubis comes in an orange and white variation,
I like the little fangs.
The fangs. Me too. My mom thinks he's terrifying. I was like, "What are you talking? He's adorable."
Cool.
Adorable.
Make an orange and white one and take my money.
It's actually probably not that hard. I use the same pattern, just change change the colors.
I guess do book signings and with those stores if possible. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a smart way.
I did do a book signing, and people really like to support their local authors. I actually got sold a bunch then. So yeah, I'll probably do another. My comic book store wants me to come back for more book signings, so I'll probably do that.
That'd be great. Yeah. If you can get the 10 or 12 stores closest to your house, and then do one a month and rotate it once a month, that might be beneficial.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But we are way past our time, and I hope even does not get too upset. But thank you for coming out and doing this with us, Corissa.
Thanks for having me on.
Next time you come back, you'll come back with me, 8 questions with, and that'll probably be in August. I'm hoping, and we will have a lot of fun. And just like we did here, I want to thank Echo. My toes will heal, Echo. But thank you for absolutely owning this interview, hosting it. You did a kick-ass job. You are ready. I think you're ready.
Oh, and just to answer Samantha's real quick, I'm in Tennessee.
Echo's learning how to interview and get confidence. Yeah. He absolutely crushed it today.
Everyone was saying that I should give it a shot, but I've like kind of been putting it off, and then someone finally was talking about it. It's like, oh, okay, maybe I should try.
Well,
I'm a long time comic book fan. That's why I really wanted to read, and I have like over 800. I'm sure some of them are independent, but like a lot of people, Marvel, DC. So I could probably go to my local comic book store and maybe find some independents, but it's gonna be all Marvel and DC.
Snow has one more. Idea. Boy, maybe you need to follow each other here for sure. Snow mentions, I think a bath bomb, full of blood red blood bubbles would be so cute. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yes, that would be. And she's talking about Nashville and Chattanooga. I go to both a lot, actually. Chattanooga all the time. We just went to Nashville. Sevierville, we go to Gatlinburg at least once a month. Yeah. So
okay. Yes, a House of Horrors comes on every Saturday night from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. It is hosted by our friend Steven. Echo has been coming in and lately as a co-host. I am just a guest co-host. I have my own show that I run called 8 Questions With. That runs Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays. And thank you guys all for coming. And we will put all the information down below for Corissa. And thanks for coming out. And we will see you. Well, Echo will probably see you next Saturday. Maybe me, if Steven's not recovered yet from his Hollywood run.
Yes, he's a big star now.
You two guys stay right where you're at. And to the chat, I'm going to say good night. Thank you so much for coming out. And we will see you soon.
Thanks, guys.